It just seemed absolutely impossible. She had vanished into thin air.
In the case of Nicola Bulley.
This is not a normal case.
I was curious, to be honest, really curious.
The disappearance of Nicola Bulley captured the interest of the nation after she was reported missing on January the 27th, 2023.
The disappearance of Nicola Bulley.
Nicola Bulley.
Nicola Bulley.
Nicola Bulley.
What followed was a 3-week investigation by Lancashire police.
So many thoughts that go through your head, and every avenue you go down, you reach a point and hit a wall.
It's baffled the nation. It's got everybody talking about it.
Obviously stunned, and it's just very, very painful.
Deep down we hope that it'll be a happy outcome for the family, but we don't know.
The search for the 45-year-old mother of two required extensive police resources and also that of private underwater search specialists.
If Nicola was in that river, I would have found her. I can guarantee you that. She wouldn't have. We would have found her, and she's not there.
Not only did the case receive widespread attention in the media, but social media exploded with hysteria surrounding the case, which encouraged conspiracy theories and attention on the village from so-called armchair detectives on platforms such as TikTok.
In 29 years police service, I've never seen anything like it.
So, have lessons been learned following the disappearance of Nicola Bulley and a 3-week investigation that gripped the nation? On the morning of January 27th, in St Michael's-on-Wyre, Nicola Bulley is pictured alongside partner Paul Ansell. She is leaving her home to take her 2 children to school. After dropping her children off, Nicola leaves her car in the school car park and departs on foot to walk her dog, Willow. She takes a route over this bridge before turning down a path that runs alongside the River Wyre. She continues along the path, and at approximately 8:46 am, phone data analysis locates Nicola at the area containing the gate and the bench. Minutes later, whilst continuing in this direction, Nicola is seen by another dog walker with her phone out in front of her. At 8:53 am, the mortgage advisor sends an email to her boss, followed by a message to her friend 6 minutes later. At 9:01, she logs onto a Microsoft Teams call before the last known sighting in the upper field at approximately 9:10. At around 9:20 am, Nicola is back in the area of the bench before the Teams call ended 10 minutes later, with her mobile remaining logged on after the call. Finally, at 9:33 am, another dog walker found her phone on the bench beside the river, with her dog darting between the two. Within 90 minutes, Miss Bulley's family and the school were told about her disappearance. Police are called, and she is deemed a high-risk missing person. The search to find Nicola begins, and Lancashire Constabulary deployed drones, helicopters, and police search dogs as part of the major missing person operation. On January the 30th, 3 days after her disappearance, Superintendent Sally Riley held a press conference with a handful of journalists asking for witnesses to come forward.
So I'm here today to appeal for witnesses in the case of Nicola Bulley. This is a 45-year-old lady from the local area who sadly went missing last Friday morning at about 9:15 am.
Present was the Mirror's Holly Bone, who would go on to cover the story throughout.
Hello, my name is Holly Bone, and I'm here today in the village of St Michael's, Lancashire, where Nicola Bulley, a mum of 2, has been missing for 4 days.
So we queried the timeline, and it was when I took Sally Riley to one side at the end of the huddle where she'd asked questions, and I queried that. She said, oh well, we found Nicola's phone still connected to a work call on a bench. And I remember thinking, well, that's a major detail that you should have told us, because now it makes a lot more sense why it's so much more mysterious that she's just vanished.
This piece of information, that Nicola hadn't terminated the work meeting and it was still live when the phone was found, was the spark that attracted attention across the country, with people asking and theorising of what could have happened, despite the police stating that they were not treating Miss Bulley's disappearance as suspicious.
And I've not given their mummy a cuddle before bed for 5 nights. It's just incomprehensible.
They want to go out and help find her. For them, they don't understand it. I mean, we're struggling to understand it as fully grown adults.
With the added interest, attention and scrutiny, Lancashire Police continued searching the area and the river in the following days, which included specialist underwater and marine units. Despite this, no concrete evidence was found suggesting Nicola's whereabouts.
It just seemed absolutely impossible. Just like a dream. Just cannot get my head around any of it. Every single scenario comes to a brick wall, every single one of them. And then all we're doing is sitting there going round and round and round, going through every scenario, and then go back to the first scenario again and do the whole thing again. It is as though she has vanished into thin air. Like, yeah, just insane.
The police confirmed their sole focus was the area of the river due to the only exits away from the water being locked or covered by CCTV. This led to the police stating in a press conference that one scenario is most likely.
Our main working hypothesis, therefore, is that Nicola has sadly fallen into the river, that there is no third party or criminal involvement, and that this is not suspicious, but a tragic case of a missing person.
Family and friends, however, continued to hold on to hope that Nicola was still alive.
It's a possibility, and it is. And I think we're probably just that little bit of glimmer of hope that we're hoping that it's not, and that she's still out there.
You know, as friends and family, we aren't in denial, but we are holding on to the hope, because until they say there is evidence, everything is just a theory.
She was wearing little Wellingtons, you know, she was wearing a bobble hat. These are all items of clothing that you would expect would appear somewhere down the line, you know, along the river. And nothing had been found and no one had seen anything. There wasn't any evidence to support this theory. I think the police were under increasing pressure to do as much as they can and show that they were doing as much as they can. And obviously with the family having their doubts, in comes Peter Foulding.
After days of no progression from the police, the family of Nicola Bulley approached Peter Foulding from Specialist Group International to help with the search.
Underwater search unit with us, so we got another dive team to back up the police, and we got a really specialist bit of kit, high frequency side scan sonar, which we've got a very high hit rate. I was the first to bring it into the UK in 1999 and sort of pioneered the use of it over here, so I can find anything with that.
Being brought in by the family at the family's request, he said that he had the best sonar equipment, you know, in the world. I think the quote was,
"And if Nicola is here, I'm happy that we will find her if she is in the river."
As a family who are clawing for answers and desperate to know, that has got to be kind of music to their ears, to know that somebody is saying that they've got the equipment and the means and the experience to be able to do it.
If we can't find her in the next 3 or 4 days in this river, if she's not here, then I'm confident she's not in this stretch of river. I'd be very confident of that.
Foulding and his team begin an extensive search of the river using their high-tech equipment, but unfortunately do not find anything to progress the investigation. In the following days, Foulding began media briefings independently from the police.
The new area today to search around the sort of entry point where Nicola went in, up and then further up the river to the corner, just to clear that we've eliminated every possible scenario, and that's what we're looking at.
It's still much of a mystery, yeah. I mean, it's just finding Nicola at the moment, really. That's what this is about, and I don't know where she is. If she, you know, we're still searching the river and treating it as a missing person inquiry.
On February the 8th, the search from the private firm comes to a halt, with Foulding saying Nicola Bulley is categorically not in that area.
If Nicola was in that river, I would have found her. I can guarantee you that. She wouldn't have. We would have found her, and she's not there. Normally we find them, but this is an unusual situation, and hopefully Nicola will appear somewhere or pop up somewhere. I don't know, but with that, I'm totally baffled by this one, to be honest.
With no advancement in the case from police searches and those conducted by Peter Foulding, an increasing sense of hysteria on social media began to grow.
Do not speculate as to what may have happened to Nicola.
In 29 years police service, I've never seen anything like it. Some of it's been quite shocking and really hurtful to the family. Obviously, we can't disregard anything, and we've reviewed everything that's come in, but of course it has distracted us significantly.
Yeah, it definitely got very frosty. The people, I think, became very guarded, and I think that they were upset with how the scene was being treated, as they put it, as like a dark tourism hotspot. So, you know, these people who were coming under the guise of wanting to help, but actually, you know, were just causing more upset and harm. I think that really caused a lot of problems.
Further down the line, this led to TikTok issuing a statement on the matter, as they said they would take action against violations of community guidelines by removing and restricting some content and accounts. As further days passed, with no answers, more pressure was put on Lancashire Police and their handling of the case. And on February the 15th, Detective Superintendent Rebecca Smith revealed Miss Bulley was classed as a high-risk missing person immediately after she was reported missing due to vulnerabilities.
As soon as she was reported missing, following the information that was provided to the police by her partner Paul, and based on a number of specific vulnerabilities that we were made aware of, Nicola was graded as high risk. That is normal in a missing person from investigation with the information we were in possession of.
With this information, speculation grew online of what vulnerabilities Nicola had, which forced the constabulary to release a statement to clarify the information due to concerns for the safety of Paul Ansell and the family. The police disclosed Miss Bulley's struggles with alcohol and perimenopause. The statement and handling of Nicola's private information was widely criticised, and the police announced it would be conducting an internal review of the handling of the case.
Everybody was just dumbfounded. I mean, I remember looking at the email and I was in absolute disbelief. I felt angry. They never needed to, you know, cause that family, you know, expose them to kind of that such personal information being released.
Really unusual that they have provided this information, and I think there are questions for Lancashire Police about why they've done this.
I just believe that it's wholly irresponsible, it's out of context. I don't see how that helps the public in the search for this lady who, you know, clearly is vulnerable.
That private information was put into the public domain, and I'm pleased that the police are looking at how that happened in the investigation. Obviously my thoughts are with Nicola's friends and family, and the focus now must be on continuing to try and find her.
On February 19th at 2:32 p.m, Lancashire Police revealed a body had been found in the river after it was called earlier in the day at 11:36 a.m. to an area of the River Wyre, about a mile from where Miss Bulley first disappeared. And the following day, the force confirmed that the body that was found by a member of the public had been identified as Nicola Bulley.
Sadly, we are now able to confirm that yesterday we recovered Nicola Bulley from the River Wyre. Nicola's family have been informed and are of course devastated.
It was really sad. You know, it was, you know, this was a story that we'd been covering for almost a month.
It's a sad day, isn't it?
Very sad. You know, you can actually feel the energy around you, just so somber, really, and sad. Feel for the little girls, don't we?
I wouldn't necessarily say that it came as a shock, but it was still an extremely sad day, knowing that, you know, her daughters, her family, you know, her parents that I'd spoken to and who were lovely people were going through that. It was sad to think about them experiencing that.
The family criticised the police's handling of the case, and Paul Ansell spoke of his agony at the news. At a later date in June, the coroner concluded the cause of Nicola Bulley's death was accidental drowning. Following the independent review of the case, a 143-page report is published in November, and finds the investigation was handled well, but the force lost control of the public narrative, and the disclosure of personal information about Nicola Bulley's health struggles was avoidable and unnecessary.
It would have been much better had Nicola been declared as a high-risk missing person from the outset, and indeed there was an early press conference where some misleading information was given that said there were no issues of vulnerability around Nicola, which actually probably contributed to a number of the conspiracy theories about, well, something awful must have happened then.
Specialist diver Peter Faulding's behaviour was deemed to have caused challenges to the investigation. Mr. Faulding told the report authors he was not advised or supported with any media guidance by the force, and that he did not receive any instruction not to engage with the press.
What lessons have been learned, I'm not sure. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if we'll find out until the next time that a case like this comes around. But in terms of the lessons that need to be learned, you know, the police need to start taking social media much more seriously. You know, realistically, you know, this was a case of somebody who just fell into a river. You know, it could happen to anyone. So, you know, I think they just need to be a lot more prepared.